Hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar on leveraging Active Directory to automate PKI. I'm Julia Linsky with the GlobalSign marketing team and want to thank you all for joining us today. I'm happy to introduce today's presenter, Evan Wada. Evan is one of our lead sales engineers at GlobalSign and is responsible for implementing advanced PKI solutions for our customers. He is an IT expert with a strong passion for sales and consulting, so please feel free to send any questions you have over to Evan so we can cover them during the Q&A portion after the presentation. Here's what we have in store for today. Evan will be providing a technical overview of our Active Directory solution, including how it works, the key benefits to using a solution like this, and the various certificate enrollment options. Finally, he'll go over how this solution compares to running an internal CA and other similar solutions in the market. If you have questions throughout the presentation, you can submit them using the questions box in your GoToMeeting control panel. We'll keep track and try to answer them all at the end of the webinar. You can also follow us on Twitter at @GlobalSign, where we'll be sharing follow-up materials after today's presentation. And now, over to Evan.
Thank you, Julie. So what is AEG? Well, first, let's start with explaining a little bit about GlobalSign. We've been around since 1996, and we are a full-service SaaS CA, offering a shared public root as well as dedicated private and trusted routes. We basically offer managed PKI for all of your needs, whether it be client authentication, SSL, SMIME, or digital signatures. To make this process as seamless as possible for both admins and end users, we have created agents to help automate PKI integration. In this presentation, we'll be covering our Active Directory automation agent from our box of IOE solutions called AEG, or Auto Enrollment Gateway. So what is AEG? The Auto Enrollment Gateway is a software service that acts as a connector between GlobalSign's SaaS certificate services and an organization's enterprise environment. It works by talking to your domain controller and endpoints to communicate through our API to our SaaS CA services and issue certificates based on the endpoint's role. So how AEG works. So this is the outline of a typical basic Active Directory infrastructure with AEG deployed. Here we have the enterprise environment with the domain controller, AEG, and endpoints, with the GlobalSign SaaS CA in the cloud. So let's start a typical enrollment process. Step 1, the endpoints that are configured to enroll for certificates through group policy connect to AEG server over SSL. Then the AEG server sends an LDAP query to the domain controller to get a list of templates that the endpoints can enroll for. A queried list of available templates is then sent back to the endpoints, along with a universal resource identifier of the enterprise CA, configured to issue the certs. The client then connects to the AEG server through SSL, which later impersonates the client to request a certificate to our APIs to GlobalSign SaaS CA. After immediate processing of this request, our APIs respond back with a certificate that's then installed on the endpoint and ready to use. So let's look at another typical environment, one with multiple domains or multiple forests involved. As you can see here, if we do have cross-forest trust, only one instance of AEG server is required to communicate with both domains. If there is no cross-trust, we can install multiple instances of AEG. Where it has a small footprint, it does not hog resources or affect performance. Regardless of how many instances of AEG are deployed, certificate lifecycle and reporting can be managed from a single account. Let's look at some of the key advantages and benefits that AEG has to offer. It provides an easy and efficient way to deploy digital certificates across your entire organization, whether that be users, machines, or devices. It also supports a variety of use cases, so user and machine authentication, SSL, SMIME, and Office document signing. It can reduce the risk associated with managing, maintaining, and securing an internal PKI operation in-house. GlobalSign manages the security, high availability, and CA operations, while the organization still retains control of the users and the policies. Best of all, you can minimize the total cost of PKI deployments, as there's no need for extra staff support or internal expertise. So leveraging your existing technology investments. Well, you already have AEG started up within your environment. So you already have a repository of authenticated users and machines. And with AEG, you already have a robust policy management solution, and your clients already support certificate lifecycle management. So let's look at some key usages of AEG. AEG can issue certificates for your supported template formats with the proper extended key uses to satisfy the needs of all your use cases. SMIME with key archival services to prevent important data access and loss should a user's certificate be lost or revoked. Smart card login, user and machine-based authentication, server authentication, as well as encrypted file systems. So let's look at the certificate enrollment options offered through AEG. The first is the automatic enrollment for domain-joined endpoints. The user automatically gets certificates installed or gets prompted to install these, so there's no need for the manual enrollment process. Whatever templates are issued through group policy will automatically be enrolled on that user's endpoint once they log in to their domain. Simple two-step process, and auto-enrollment for endpoints controlled by the access control lists. For manual enrollment needs, this can simply be done through the MMC console. Once opened up, it's a simple five-step process to enroll the user or endpoint with a machine or user certificate. For non-domain joined endpoints, we have a specific UI that allows you to initiate manual enrollment requests. You can simply upload a certificate signing request into the user interface to request a certificate for these non-domain endpoints or a SCEP compatible device such as a router. It also allows you to an administrator with access to either approve or deny these requests, as well as download a list of CAs that need to be pushed out through group policy. Now let's look at the benefit of hierarchy options. With AEG, you are provided with a private CA that we host for internal machine, client, and server authentication. This allows the security of setting your own name constraints as well as control over your intermediate root CAs. Another important aspect, for those with non-publicly verifiable domains, due to new CA browser forum rules, public certificate authorities will no longer be allowed to issue internal certificates off of publicly trusted roots as of November 2015. For those infrastructures utilizing internal domains, a private root will become mandatory. On top of this, AEG also allows the flexibility of issuing off of our publicly trusted root CA for public-facing SSL, SMIME, and document signing. So why AEG? Well, let's take a look at some comparisons between operating your own internal solution versus utilizing us as your SaaS provider. With us, you can set permission levels and delegate user control on a granular level if needed. Certificate requests can be approved or denied easily through our UI. Full reporting capabilities through our UI or APIs, along with advanced searching capabilities, including a rich set of logging capabilities. No need to train or hire additional staff to manage, as we have a full, experienced 24/7 support and security infrastructure staffed and in place. This also includes management of cryptographic appliances like HSMs to store root CAs that require additional knowledge and support. Being a publicly trusted CA, we can offer certificates for externally facing web servers, document signing, as well as SMIME certificates for signing and encrypting emails. Unique GlobalSign features include an MDM connector to handle your mobile device needs. These certificates can be issued for email encryption and signing, email authentication, VPN, and Wi-Fi authentication. By connecting your MDM platform to AEG, you centralize your certificate activity across all devices. AEG was also developed by an ex-Microsoft crypto team, and this is the same team that was involved with developing the .NET infrastructure that AEG is currently built on. A huge plus is AEG is a clientless solution. While some certificate authorities offer a similar Active Directory integration, they require that a client is installed on all machines within the Active Directory environment. AEG does not require any clients. It leverages the existing auto-enrollment functionality already built in. This all followed by streamlined implementation. Most CAs have a very manual process for their actions, including certificate lifecycle and revocation. AEG automates these processes through your existing infrastructure utilizing our SaaS services.
Okay, so that about wraps it up for the AEG overview. Thanks a lot, Evan. That was great. So now we'd like to open it up to some questions. Let's take a look at a couple that have come through during the presentation. If you have any more at this time, please feel free to enter them in the GoToWebinar panel, and we'll add them to the list. Well, first things first, someone has asked, will there be a copy of this presentation made available afterwards for review? Yes, of course. You all will receive a link to both the recording as well as the slides, so expect that coming your way in probably within the next day or so. Let's see. Okay, moving on from there. Someone has asked, is this compatible with all Windows servers?
So it is compatible with Windows servers 2008 R2 and above, as these have the necessary infrastructure in order to support auto-enrollment. It's also required to have Windows 7 or above on your client side.
Okay, great. Thanks, Evan. So if you have any other questions about compatibility, shoot them our way and we can answer them or follow up with you separately afterwards. It looks like we have a question here from one of our customers, actually. So hello, GlobalSign customer. Thanks for joining us. It says, I'm an existing customer and already use you for SMIME certificates. If I want to start using AEG, can those certificates be carried over?
Yes. One of the great things is AEG being built off our robust set of APIs. It actually allows you to continue to utilize your current license base, your current certificates within AEG. So once you start issuing from AEG, you'll still be able to track those certificates directly through the UI the same way you were before, directly through our GCC platform.
Okay, great. So that is good news, I'm sure, for any customers on the line. Let's see here, moving on. Can we issue internal certificates and public certificates?
Yes, so we do provide you with your own private internal route for usage for machine authentication, client authentication internally within the Active Directory infrastructure. If you do need to utilize it for SMIME, and you need email encryption, signing, etc. to be publicly trusted, we can definitely provide that for you as well within the same AEG infrastructure.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Evan. Someone is asking, how long does this take to set up? Could you give us, is there a rough estimate or a case by case or?
Yeah, it's really based case by case depending on how your Active Directory infrastructure is currently set up. Basically, a single domain-based infrastructure that's all 2008 R2 or above with the correct templates set up and engaged. The AEG aspect of it is actually very easy to install. And once everything within that infrastructure is set up correctly, we can generally enroll that within 4 hours or so.
Okay, great. That is great to hear. See, someone is asking, what's the minimum number of users for AEG? Do we have a minimum, or again, is it case by case?
Yeah, I mean, it really is a case-by-case basis. It really depends on, how your infrastructure is set up and what you're looking to do. Obviously, we can provide certificates for, a company of any size. It really just depends on how you're looking on enrolling those certificates. So automating the certs is really based upon, again, your environment.
Okay, great. That makes sense. So, and again, if anyone has any additional questions about more specific implementations, please reach out for us and we can set up a separate conversation. We're happy to go into more details about your specific environment. Let's see. So someone is asking, does the Cert installation work for Mac, Linux, Android devices? So it kind of sounds like they're getting at maybe that the non-domain joined devices. So could you give us a little recap about how that might work?
Yeah, so the non-domain joined devices cannot be automatically enrolled. We do have some MDM integration for your iOS and Android devices where we can include that within the AEG infrastructure and push those out through some of our other partners that we partner with MDM with, such as AirWatch. And we also have a full manual enrollment capability through our UI as well. So if you need to push out any certificates for devices that aren't domain controlled, we do offer the SCEP enrollment, and we do offer individual public enrollment that can be then approved through an admin user.
Okay, great. So it sounds like there are some options there for the non-domain joined ones.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, someone is asking, would this be a good alternative for my .local domains?
Yes, definitely. It's due to new CA browser forum regulations. Public CAs are going to be no longer allowed to issue .locals or .internal domains as of November of this year. So that leaves you with the option specifically to be able to leverage a SaaS CA service like us where we can cut you your own private internal route to utilize. You don't have to manage that route. We take care of all of the management, route management, and you can still issue those .internal and .local domains from there that you need for your environment.
Okay, great. So that sounds good since that deadline is looming, just a couple months away now.
Yes, it is.
So let's see, here's a question. It sounds a little technical, so let's see if we have to get back to this person on this. Can this be used in an 802.1x wired/wireless network environment? So are you familiar with that, Evan? Or maybe we can take this offline and follow up with this person separately.
Yeah, there are some other factors that are involved with that, so we can definitely get back to them, ask them a few more questions, and get a solution for them set up.
Okay, great. Let's see here, just looking through the questions here, make sure we covered them all. Okay, there's a few other, sounds like kind of specific to other people's specific environments, so I think we'll probably follow up with these individuals separately, just because this is kind of AEG is very flexible, but we do tend to handle things on a case-by-case basis. So we'll reach out to anyone who had one of those more technical questions after the presentation. But other than that, I think that's about all the other questions. So I want to thank you all again for joining us today. And again, we'll reach out to anyone who had technical questions separately. And yeah, thanks again for joining, and we'll be in touch.